Exclamation, everybody, and welcome to EONIA. It's by Geometric Bytes, and it's in early access on Steam, currently $15 US, and it's a RPG, kind of colorful world, almost like a painterly kind of thing going on, sort of, with some combat, but you're mostly like this mage or like a mage apprentice kind of thing. There's a lot going on. It's very, very front-loaded with tutorials. In fact, most of the early access portion that's available right now is the tutorial area, which is the first area you start in. So we're going to go through it from the beginning. I have a lot of suggestions. Let's put it that way. First of all, they do have a very adamant that EONIA is not a linear game, or won't be a linear game once you get out of the main starting area, which you can't really get out of the main starting area yet. So once you get out of this area, then it opens up and you can do whatever you want, wherever you want to do it. Which is great, but since I can't get to that part yet, I'm going to focus mostly on what we can do at the very beginning here. So, but without further ado, let's do a new game and get started here. It does take a little bit of time to load because nothing is optimized quite yet, but there are there's an interesting concept going on here that I kind of want to dig into, so hopefully we'll get to do that. So EONIA is a game of exploration, discovery, and mystery. Don't rush, go slow, read, think, and enjoy the adventure. He who seeks shall find his reward. Master and Audio. Prologue. The life of Albius was marked forever after the death of his parents, but fate did not leave him alone, and it placed Maestro Enodio, one of the eminences in the world of EONIA and a great friend of the family, as a luminous beacon that would guide him in each step. Together with Flino, his inseparable pet, Albius will undertake that journey in which he will have to protect the future of all and the very existence of EONIA, and this began, and I think they mean thus, and thus began the most important day of his life. Now, I should note that the developers, I believe their main language is Spanish, I believe. So they've translated all this to English. It's translated poorly, as you might expect, but it's still early, and they do say they will eventually get an actual human translator to come in and translate it properly. So we're going to have there's going to be some rough, very, very rough parts here. The bell of the clock. Today is the day. At last the master will name me his apprentice. Let's jump out of bed. Stop the clock bell, approach the clock bell, and press E to turn it off. You can relive Albius' last thought by pressing the tab key. You can also see his history of thoughts, F1, and the history of all information, F2. Okay. Let's go turn this off. Do not forget the travel bag. A new primary quest has begun. Don't forget anything when leaving home. Grab the travel bag, which is over here. Now you have an inventory I key where you can store and collect all the objects that have this symbol by pressing the E key. Each object has an information sheet. Click the left mouse button where all the details are provided. The help button top left will explain all the functioning of the inventory. Now take a look at your inventory. There are hundreds of objects to find. So yeah, we have this, rather than having a limited inventory, they basically have an inventory where it's showing every possible thing you could ever have in the game, which is great and fine and awesome and all that stuff. The thing is, this music is super loud, so I'm going to turn that off for a little bit so it doesn't bleed into the microphone. The thing is, there's some. This is about as janky as it comes right now, as far as inventories go. As you'll see as we go, like right now we have tools that like automatically pop up and stuff, and you have to right click on some things, and there's a lot of just stuff here that isn't quite fleshed out right, which is fine in early access, but there's a couple of bad patterns that are happening that are coming across. One of those things, as I will talk about now, is the keys. So I'm using the mouse and keyboard, and inventory's I key, which is fine. That's fine. But then there's the E key to pick some things up. The F key controls that dude right there. There's later on it'll introduce the U key for like using a telescope kind of thing, and a couple other buttons. The journal is with J, and all this stuff, and nothing really so far with like the left or right mouse button. Then of course, when you have some tools, those tools are like the 1, 2, 3 keys, but then you don't see those on screen. You have to remember that they're like those keys. There's a lot going on that's just kind of it's a little bit too much. Big empty jar. All right, I'll take those. Yeah, there's a lot going on that with the keys, and I feel like the first thing they're going to want to address is just getting some sort of consistency with all their keys and stuff. It's fine to have a shortcut like I to go to inventory and all that stuff. Those things are fine, but there's too many to remember right now. And obviously when I go in my inventory, it will tell me like, oh, if you right click on this, it'll tell me what number to use and stuff. But it's very, it's very clunky, and I feel like most of the stuff, honestly, if the game is going to be mostly not about combat and instead about exploration and stuff, I feel like a lot of these actions and things you could just put on your right mouse button and be done with it. Like if I point at this, you see how I'm pointing at this right now and it gives me a different icon? Well, why not let me just hit the right mouse button to use that? Like, if you look at something like, say, a Skyrim or something like that, like they don't, even though you can get into your journal and all that stuff with different keys, when it comes to navigating the world, you have very limited, they almost purposely limit the keys, right? So that your context is always whatever you're looking at. And if you're going to give me like a different icon here, like, oh, here's your car figures and all that stuff, and the game is obviously aware that I'm looking at something that's different because it's giving me a different icon and all those things. So why not, when I'm looking at these, just make the right click be that, just interact. There's no reason to have like an E to interact and then have to interact with this dude and all that stuff. It's like, it just feels clunky right now. I think they need to just go back and then when you get into some of the like books and you're reading the books, like there's different keys for navigating the books, and then there's sometimes you click to exit, sometimes you have to hit a key to exit. There's no consistency there. It's just just pick something and stick with it. Make it as simple as possible. Reduce the number of main keys that you have to worry about when you're going around the world, and then the auxiliary things like journal and all that stuff, they can be their own hotkeys too, sure, but then also like give me an escape menu, right? Instead of just this for when I hit escape, like give me a menu, or even like tab or something like that has all of the other menus in it that I can just kind of navigate through as I want to, and then I don't have to remember any other keys besides the ones that we have there. And also you're going to need some sort of quick action bar or something down the bottom so that you know what things are mapped to what, because that's kind of weird where it's like this is 1 and this always maps to 3 and this one always maps to 4, and then some of them don't map to number keys, and things like that. So I'll come over here and open this up. We'll grab our quest journal. You now have a quest journal, key J, which you can check all the quests you'll find throughout the game. Primary quest, secondary. Our secondary quests, tasks are for professions or activities. All zones of the game from this zone, active and completed. See, this one says click to close on this one. So we can actually right-click on things to make them active. So that's our active quest right now, and then all this stuff. All right, now see, this one's like Q to close. Right? It's like the one was click to close. This one's Q to close. There's no like internal consistency in there. So we'll grab that key, and now it's like, now you have an information sheet. Press H to open it. Well, this is my information, this is basically my quick keys and all that stuff. So this is showing me what's on and all that stuff. But honestly, this is, again, you need a better way of doing this. Like, it's okay to have a character sheet, like I said. RPGs have character sheets and stuff, but like, just, put some of this information needs to be is important enough to be on the screen at all times. You know what I mean? It's you can't hide, you can't bury some of that stuff, because it'll just cause frustration where there shouldn't be any. Anyway, so let's open the door. Come on, Felino. You can orient yourself in the world by reading signs, maps, and books. So, left shift key to run. Yes, Felino, no, I must go to Master and now, so your familiar here gets in your way when you don't go on the main quest. And that's really annoying, because I realize that they're trying to get you to focus. Like if I try to walk over here, he'll be like, no, or wait, no, I guess that is the way. But when I try to walk back here, he's like, no, you're not supposed to go back here yet. It's like, I get what they're going for, and I get that they're trying to, like, make sure that I know things and I'm moving along and all that stuff. That's not the way to do it. Honestly, that's not a good way to do it at all. Just let me explore. So what if I take my time? Like you said at the very beginning of the game, take your time, read everything. Well, then let me go read everything. Let me go see the world. I don't have to, immediately do all the tutorial right away. It's like, I feel like the game is trying to do an elevator pitch. It's trying to shove everything it can into like the 2 minutes it takes to go from the ground floor to the 30th floor or whatever. And it's trying so hard to like jam all this in there. Like, you must see all this like right now, because this is all the stuff that you can do. And it's let me run at my own pace. I don't need all that jammed in my brain immediately. It's not going to stick if you jam it all in my brain immediately anyway. But anyway, we'll talk to this guy, or try to. Yeah, E key. See, I gotta get literally up in his face here and go E. There we go. Master Terilio. Hello, Albius. Felino, always so faithful. Master EONIA is done well in giving it to you, so you do not feel so lonely. Well, there on the barrel I left a new Chrysalio key, and do not break it again. Be very careful and treat it gently, not like the last time. Master EONIA has strictly forbidden me to give you another if you break this one. He said you'll have to walk to learn, so take care of it, please. Thank you very much. I just do not know why they're made of glass. I've told you 1,000 times that Chrysalio is not glass. It is a mysterious material that we have found in one of the tombs of the War of Heaven. Now, I must leave. I have already complied with you, and the Master has asked me to urgently to Brayless. To go. Oh, has asked me to go urgently to Brayless. This font's a little bit weird. It's like light in certain areas. I have noticed him a little nervous. I got the impression that he was about to leave. The Master was about to leave, but he promised that today he would make me his apprentice. Then hurry up to meet him. Do not be late. I must not delay either. Goodbye, Albius. Until next time. All right, goodbye. So, a note on these portals. These portals are fast travel points, and I believe they only work once you actually... here it is. Chrysalia portals are distributed throughout the world of EONIA. They are very useful as they not only allow you to recover your health and save your games from the menu, but also to teleport between them, and in this traveling way long distances in seconds. But it is necessary to have a Chrysalia key and have the corresponding zone mapped for doing so. So basically, they're fast travel, but you have to have gone to zone first before you can fast travel back to planet. So they restore your health, which is good. You can see my health is at 500. Unfortunately, they also require you to stand on one of these to save the game. And that's a big no-no. Like, just stop doing that. I understand that you want the game to be artificially difficult. That's the only reason you would put something like this in there, is like you want the game to be artificially difficult because you don't want people save scumming. It is my right as the person who bought your game to save scum all I want. So stop it. Give me a way to save everywhere. There's no reason not to save everywhere. It's just laziness on the part of the developer. It's trying to force you to play a certain way, and it's wrong. It's just completely wrong. Just don't do it. Just stop it. Save anywhere. It's not difficult. You just have to put the time and effort into it. You put the time and effort into everything else. You put the time and effort into giving me the quality of life necessary to tolerate your game. Right? It's like it becomes a quality of life issue, not a matter of, oh, you must play the game the way we want you to play the game. That's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. Because most people will just go, all right, well then I won't play your game at all. Right? It's like, just give us, throw us a bone and let people save anywhere. You don't have to be, a AAA, do the AAA nonsense where it's like, oh, but this is the only correct way to play the game. It's like, no, that's just pride. That's just pride talking. That's not the technical person talking and being like, yeah, we can do this. This is something that's good for everybody. So we're going to head towards Enodio's tower, because if I don't, this little guy will get in my face and not allow me to walk any further, as you can see. I hate that. I hate that so much. Especially given, well, let's just talk about this. So these carts are the ones used by old Asmurdian. Find out what happened with the broken carts of old Asmurdian. Yeah, they're all broken and stuff. So as we're going along here, you've noticed that there's been NPCs walking around from time to time. Not a lot, but a few. There's been stuff going on. We saw a guy riding a tiger when I first walked out of the room there. We've got these broken carts and all that stuff. They're trying really hard to throw a lot of, like, here's the guy with his tiger here. But I can't talk to him because this little effer gets in my way. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, little things going on. Like, this dude's out on his barge out there. I can't talk to him at all, and this guy's like doing stuff, and here's my problem, right? Once I go to Master Enodio's thing, which is up here, right, his tower, all these guys disappear. Like, they just go away. Like, as I come out of the tower, they start running away and leaving, and now I have had no way of getting any kind of lore out of them or anything like that. Like, the world is just kind of dead. And if I was allowed to just kind of walk around and like explore things, and rather than being forced on this one path here, I would be a lot happier with the game, because I could like talk to these guys. I could get a now they're telling me how to interact with Felino, which means hit F and you can say, show me the way, and it'll go and like, show me the way and all that stuff. Like, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, it's just, I find it very, very annoying. Like there's stuff up there going on, but I can't do anything about it, right? And the tutorial, again, like they're trying to force you down the tutorial path because they want to say, they're trying to show you like, oh, there's all this stuff that can be done. Like this dude's looking at them. Like there's all this stuff that the game offers and all this stuff. Like, again, it feels like they're giving me an elevator pitch. Like, oh, look at all this, look at that. So you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. But in the meantime, I'm just like bored, right? Because I'm just walking along this path. I'm not allowed to go anywhere else. I'm not allowed to get any lore. I have to wait until the lore is fed to me. I'm not allowed to like talk to this dude. Okay, can I talk to this dude? Nope, can't talk to that dude. Can't go that way. You know, it's annoying as hell. I get that they want me to go to learn things a certain way, but honestly, you're not doing anything vastly different from any other RPG game. And I'm experienced enough with RPG games to kind of figure my way around things. Like, you're not doing anything too crazy. Like, hey, you got some lore books. Big whoop. I've played Elder Scrolls games. You've got some plants that can be cut down. Awesome. I've also played some Elder Scrolls games. This is also from those, right? And this is it's just, you know, like there's nothing here that I probably haven't already seen in a different context somewhere. Nothing's been collected. New plant discovery. There we go. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing earth-shattering happening. What is earth-shattering that's happening is there's a whole lot of story going on around me that I can't engage in, which is making it so that I'm not engaged with the world because I can't go and look at anything, right? Like I'm just kind of stuck on this one little path until they spoon feed me all the crap here. Oh, space bar to jump, C to crouch. Oh, just like every other game, you know? It's like, it's unnecessary to be that heavy-handed with the tutorial. Now we need to find the elevator switch. So I guess I'll try and hit this because I think that updates the quest, right? Yep, okay. Which is, I happen to know, is over here in these boxes. Or behind these boxes. Because they want you to learn how to crouch and everything. So there you go. And we can grab this. Now, and then get back through here. And jump over that. And get back up inside. There we go. That's on the wall, and head on up. The art style, I'm really liking. I really like the art style. The music is, as I said, a little bit loud. That's just more on me than on anything else. I just don't feel like turning it down. I unplugged my headphones here, so so there could be some really awesome music going on right now, or there could be some really crappy music going on right now. I don't know. I don't hear any of it because I don't want to deal with it. You know, you don't have to start out the game with 100% volume. You can always try and start with like 60%. You know what I mean? Anyway, Albius, I had to go urgently to Brailus, but I will not disregard your education. I have left you some tasks. Do you remember Mivos' book about opening locks with lockpicks? Yes, I know you do not like his books. They seem unbearable at times, but their guides are a solid base of knowledge. I have left the book on one of the shelves for you to review because I want you to open the backyard chest using what you have learned as the first task. And learn from that book and all the others you find. Knowledge is everything. Now X is to exit. And Q to close. Like I said, there's a lot of weird buttons, and you're gonna need to settle on a button at some point, because there's far too many right now. He didn't say anything about me being his apprentice, and I don't want to read any more books by Master Estevius or whatever. I'll take some cheese though. And then here's the book. Gotta take now. One of the cool things. We'll talk about this in a little bit because I want to point this out, but we're not quite there yet because I have to go through every little nook and cranny before we get there. But here's our Reading material. So books are an essential part of EONIA. They contain data, clues, and all kinds of information that helps understand the world that surrounds everything. Reading them is not mandatory, but undoubtedly doing so is wise. Take time to do it, and you will see that you'll be rewarded. Press the D key to continue to go to the end of the book to learn the skill. Right. So I'm not going to read all of this because there's a lot here. But basically, it's just like Skyrim and stuff. You get to the end of the book, and then you gain a skill. So we got lockpicking, advanced skill there. So Q to remove that pop-up, and then X to get out of the book, and then escape to get out of the inventory. Yeah, I'm going to keep hammering that home. Like, just pick a damn button. You don't need 20 different buttons. There's got to be some sort of consistency in your game. Otherwise, you're just going to cause unnecessary frustration on the behalf of the players. So let's get out of here. And we go over to this chest here. There are 3 lockpicks out here just for us. And then we can now go pick this lock. So easy locks are green padlocks, medium are yellow, and hard are red. The easy ones, it is necessary to discover the correct opening order of the first bolt. The position of remaining bolts is not important. For a medium lock, it's necessary to discover the correct opening order of the 3 first bolts, and the position of remaining bolts is not important. And in hard, it's necessary to discover the correct opening order of all the bolts. And E to close this particular menu. So this one I happen to know is just the top, the first one. You just go through, and then the rest of them don't matter. So we took no damage off our lockpick for that one, so cool. We got Frightener Potion, and press E to read what the master has left us. The basement is occupied by Escarino. Your next task will be to free the place from that invading vermin. But first you must discover it in the bestiarium that is in the tower. These books are an endless source of knowledge. Here I leave you something that will undoubtedly need. Once you read that book, you'll understand. So, bestiarium, I think they mean bestiarium, or bestiary. I think it would be better if they just called it a bestiary like every other game does, because bestiarium is not the correct word. It just sounds like you're telling someone they're the best. It's a book of people who are the best. So we come over here and go down into the cellar. You don't know anything yet about the Escarino. Well, did I pick up a book? Wait, what was my journal say? Go up the tower and search for it. Okay, yeah, that's right. So this is where we go back up the tower again. Which, there's a lot of go back to where you were. Now go to this other place. Now go back to where you were. It's just usually a sign of a bad layout, bad ordering of things. Alright, and here's the bestiarium, and then got a prologue, and then we got different beasts in the game that we can come across. Right now, there's the insect Escarino. Once an animal creature is identified either through a drawing or other means, you can discover its characteristics by consulting the bestiarium and in certain specific cases, other similar books. Press the W key to know about and learn its particularities. Yeah, he actually has particularities. I think he means peculiarities. Alright, so W. Discovered. It's one of the many insects that we can found. It's of average size and 2 pair of wings, allow fast movement through all types of terrain, even over water. It's hermaphroditic and defends her litter of eggs fiercely. It preferentially feeds on fungi and mold. The latter are his favorites, and he finds them in dark and damp caves. I think we changed pronoun in there. In essence, its habitat is very aggressive when anyone enters its territory, hence the enormous problem when they invade the basement of any house or structure to feed on the mold that you can grow there. Serena will consider that site as a new home and will defend it until death if necessary. It is not poisonous, but his bite is very painful and can cause great irritation, therefore caution is recommended. Tip, the Frightener potion is totally effective. It will make the Escarina flee in terror to never return. You must have to throw it on the body and let everything happen. Thanks to some fine hairs over their eyes, the Escarina could detect us even in stealth mode. Okay, so I did that. Go down the basement and find it. Alright, so come over here. Now we can go down the basement. Alright. And, oops, I'm going the wrong way again. Over here. Dangerous beings! In the world of EONIA, not everything that moves is an enemy. In the same way that there are violent beings that will attack you with fury just at seeing you, there are also others that will not harm you and will not consider you as something to be eliminated, nor something to feed from. How to know this? Every time you find an animal, creature, or beast, observe it if it has a drawing of a red skull. If it doesn't, it is harmless, and you should not fear it. But beware, if you see this red skull, it will attack you at the slightest opportunity or represents a great danger to you, and the best option is, with no doubt, to flee from there or be very careful. Keep in mind you cannot kill any living being. That is something that Master EONIA has made clear to you on many occasions. Remember, it is not always necessary to deprive from existence. It's told you again and again. If you need something they own, surely there will be a way of obtaining it. You just have to find it. But do not forget that the world of EONIA is surrounded by the inexplicable and full of dangers. So be cautious, because when you least imagine it, you'll need a good sword and a shield, and some spears too, of course. And you will go straight to face your fate, on which everyone depends. So I read that as there's not any killing in the game per se, which is fine. Although there are things that need to be items that need to be from dead carcasses, I would think, but we'll see. In any case, there is the Escarina, which looks rather crazy. So help throw potions. Search the inventory for a potion you want to throw. In this case, a Frightener potion. Select it with the right mouse button. Aim at the target. The cursor will change to attack mode. Throw the potion by pressing the 4 key. So we'll go here. We'll go to potions. We'll right click on that one. You see it puts a number 4 there. Come out of there. We'll hit number 4 and bang. He runs away. Alright, quest updated to task of Master EONIA. We have some wooden boards here to pick up. We have a wood hammer to pick up. And then they automatically pick up my skill tree here. This is Albius' skill tree, which is the T key. Have I mentioned there's too many buttons in this game? Here you can follow the status of each of the skills obtained and those that are still to be achieved. The floating information sheet contains both the characteristics and the way to obtain them. And guess what? Guess how you close this screen? You have to hit T to close this screen. So yeah, a lot of inconsistencies right now. So here's the stuff that we've learned. Basic skills. I have to read most of the stuff. You have to read books for, which is fine. There's I want to speak a little bit about books, but let's get through this for a second here. We'll come over, we'll grab these eggs because they're mine now, and then I have to cover the hole in the wall. There's some nails here, and we'll grab these boards. Very good. And the hammer's on 3, I think. Actually, I gotta equip it first. So where's that? Yeah, I'm gonna hit right click there. There we go. 3, and it's 1. I have to click 1 at a time here. I can't hold down the button. Just keep clicking 1 at a time. And you have to wait between each one. You can't just hammer clicking it. Alright, and then 3 should put it away. Excellent. We can look at this. I had no doubt that you would manage to get rid of the Escarina. You will be my apprentice, of course. There you have your wristband that proves it. To put it on, it is a pity I cannot be with you, but a very serious matter concerns me that hasn't occurred in centuries. You are not ready to hear about them yet. Actually, I would not even know how to explain it to you. I have spoken with each of the master explorers because I need as much help as possible, although I have noticed in them a greater confusion than mine. But do not worry, everything will get fixed. For now, I want you to continue with your learning. You've always wanted a spyglass, so here you have one as a gift for the appointment. I've asked Master Cartographer Mardio Mateo, to teach you how to identify animals and create maps. Now go quickly to the cartographic tower and take care of yourself, Albius. You are special. Never forget it. I hope to come back soon. With love, Master Enodio. Alright, so he's always telling me that I'm special, but never the why. And the day arrived. Now I am his apprentice. I'm very happy. If Ma and Pa were here, they'd be proud of me. I miss them a lot, he says. Okay. Quest completed. Q. Pick up the small spyglass. Spyglass, I wanted one for a long time. At last I can make maps and see the distant mountains. I have to try it as soon as possible. And then the apprentice wristband. Put that on there. Flito, look, at last I have a wristband with my initial on it, written in a strange language. Now everyone will know that I'm an apprentice of Master Enodio. And then there was more to that, but whatever. So, we've done that. Now, let me get back up out of here. And I want to talk a little bit about books in the game, because I think they're on the right track when it comes to them. It's just there's a little bit of it feels like there's a little bit of a hesitation in here as they're doing things. So first of all, we'll go into J here and we'll make that our active quest. Let's go to Cartographic Tower. So it seems to me like the game is focusing mostly on, like, less on combat and killing things, and more on, there, guys running off here. These guys are going to be running off, as I said, and I won't be able to talk to them. There's also a loading screen, like, loading zone, like, right there, constantly. The game seems to emphasize heavily the acquisition of knowledge and putting it into books and stuff like that. These next couple of tasks that they're going to give me involve, like, trying to, you know, seek out various creatures and you know, add them to the book and everything. We get like an inkwell and stuff where we can draw it in the book and all that stuff, and that's really cool. I think, honestly, if I were to give some feedback about this area, I think it would be fantastic if that's, you know, if that's the whole hook of the game. That's the only thing that this area should care about, right? If the whole hook of the game is you're going to go and you're going to go and basically be this traveling mage slash monk, like a monk mage. We were going around and filling out books and acquiring knowledge and learning about the world and all that stuff. That's fantastic. Like, I would love for, like, an Elder Scrolls game, having played a bunch of them, I would love for an Elder Scrolls game to be like, we're going to introduce a class, like the Elder Scrolls Online or something. We're going to introduce a class that's just a monk or something, or like a learning teacher or whatever, and you gain experience just from going around collecting all the lore books and just trying to catalog them and all that stuff. Like, that would be fantastic, because that would, to me, that seems like the best. Like, that's something that really hasn't been explored yet in games. A few games have done, you know, a thing or two here and there, like Under Rail, which was a little indie game, like top-down 2D indie game, turn-based game, RPG. Had this concept in it, like the default mode. It had like two modes, and the default mode, you would only gain experience points if you found artifacts in the world, and that was it. That was the only time you gained any kind of experience. You could kill thousands of animals, thousands of enemies, but you would only gain experience if you actually found artifacts along the way. And that's like the first time that I could point at something and be like, that's kind of an interesting concept. Like, nobody really does that. That feels kind of interesting. And it feels like in this game they're trying to emphasize the books and filling out books and you know, exploring areas and, you know, making maps and all this stuff, and kind of de-emphasizing the combat and whatnot. If that's the case, they're really going to need to they really should double down on that. I think. I think in our home that we woke up in, there was a bookshelf in there, and it was just for show. I feel like that bookshelf should have been like a magical bookshelf, and it should have been empty, right? And as we collect these books, these lore books and stuff, they automatically teleport back to that bookshelf. And we can always access that bookshelf from anywhere in the world just by hitting like L for lore or library or whatever. And then you just have, instead of having all those things jammed into the inventory with everything else, they have their own special place, and you can go there and you can look at them and read them whenever you want to, and just kind of interact with them that way, because it makes them important. Then it elevates the importance of them, and it makes the game something different than everything else. Right now, everything's just kind of tossed into one bucket. It's got filters on it, sure, but it's still like clunky. And as you'll see here, we're going to go open up this book, and we're going to read this first. So, hello Albius, excuse my absence, but I was called in a hurry to Braylus. Master Enodio asked me to teach you how to map and draw animals, so I will do all I can from this note. First, you must learn to use the spyglass. You will find a book that teaches about this at the Stellar Observatory. One of the researchers who works there has borrowed it from me. Look for the book and read it, please. Of course, in the book, you will also learn how to map and draw animals. This last task is something that requires a lot of patience and, above all, caution, because it's not the same to draw a docile librel than a ferocious raccoon. I have left volume 1 of the Animal and Beast Study Notebook, a blank map, and a drawing pen. It's all you'll need for now. I'm sorry I cannot be present with you and neither be more help. I hope I'll be able to congratulate you in person for being nominated as Apprentice of the Master. Best luck in this new path that you undertake. Alright, the quest is completed there. And we'll grab the blank map and drawing quill. So first thing we'll do is we'll stand in here and we'll get a map of the area. And the way you do that is you see these posts all over the place here. Basically, I gotta take out the spyglass and I gotta look at them for a couple seconds. So spyglass is you. Must learn by So front-loading some of this reading of the books and stuff is also probably not helpful, but we'll talk about that in a second here. So go in here, and I'm just gonna go boom, 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 fish, creature, beast, male, blah, 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 blah. Go through all this. Actually, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. That was the Art of a Lock. What's the... there's our maps. You're in this region. Oh, M to close the map. Great. Where was the thing at? Did I not... where's the spyglass book? Did I not pick it up? Oh, that's right. It's... the person in the other one borrowed it. I forgot. So... I have to go over to the Stellar Observatory to get the skill book to use the spyglass so that I can then complete this other quest. That... again... I hate to harp on it all the time, but that's just the wrong order of doing things. Like, I have to run all the way over this other place, and I gotta run all the way back the other way again. Help offering and sanctuaries of the gods. The sanctuaries of the gods of heaven are distributed far and wide in the world of EONIA. There are dozens, and they represent each of the 8 gods of heaven, being them powerful figures that provide benefits to those who give them offerings of light. According to the millennial legend, the gods cross the skies at enormous speed, so it's common to see them at every moment, night and day. But as soon as the terrible war of heaven was finished, they vanished and never returned. Nothing else was ever heard about them, and for many it was something that did not even exist at all. They say that there are still traces of the war in some sanctuaries and recondite and hidden places. I don't know what that is. They are clear testimonies of the existence of the 8, that those inscriptions in the strange language in the statues are proof of their existence left by those who came with the gods as mute witnesses of that confrontation of ideas has indeed occurred. Yeah, So they're statues. Yeah, got it. Anyone who's played any kind of RPG understands that without all of that background. It's nice to have that background. It's nice to have that lore. I don't think we need that right now, is what I'm getting at. So help proximity detection. This icon appears when there's an animal, creature, beast in the vicinity that has not yet detected us. The icon blinks incessantly. This icon appears when an animal, creature, or beast has detected us, arising from two possible circumstances. Either we are being attacked, or the animal, creature, or beast is fleeing in search of the safety of a hiding place. If it is the last, we will have to move away enough until this icon disappears and wait patiently for the animal, creature, or beast to return to its task. The icon blinks incessantly. Yeah, I got it. The whole idea of having... So the whole problem... The whole reason they had me running over to the Stellar Observatory for this book is because they wanted to introduce all those other concepts. And it's very plain to see that, and it's still super annoying. Right? It's like the only reason I have to run over here is to get a book that was really just placed here so that I have to run through those other things so that I get that other help text. Again, a whole lot of front loading of stuff that isn't necessary. Ternius, here's the ring of stamina that you lent me. When I visit Brayless, I'll buy some. You were right. They're very useful. Thanks. And I'll see you when I come back. Don't look at the sky. Alright. Stamina ring. Take the bar ring, but I'll return as soon as I can. And then, there is, I believe, a book. Yes, over here. Royal Globe is the one the Master has in his tower. I've always wondered what they will use. New secondary quest has begun. Globes, worlds like the Masters. Okay. We'll go in here, and that is not the right one. Everything looks the same. Wait, no. This one. No. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Okay. Art of using the spyglass. This was the correct one. So, yeah. Just go through here real fast. There's a nice little picture of the known world of EONIA there. That's kind of nice. And then we got our skill acquired. So we get out of this. Help spyglass, general use. Enter and exit the spyglass mode with the U key. There are 3 types of spyglasses with different magnifications, as well as 3 types of writing pens, which increase the speed when making a drawing. Extremely useful when drawing animals or fast and elusive creatures. Using cartography. With the spyglass, you can map large areas. This is achieved on a cartographic tower, of course, after having learned how to map with the corresponding book and finding the 4 cartographic masts located at each cardinal point. The first time an identification occurs, you will obtain a map of the region with all the important points indicated. Afterwards, locating each cartographic tower and its cartographic mast will expand the area until a total discovery of the world and its mysteries. Used to identify animals and creatures. Thanks to the telescope, we can identify many things from EONIA. This is achieved by focusing the view on the objective with the spyglass for the required duration of the drawing to be completed. If a target moves before the drawing is finished, it can be continued as long as you just walk and don't try to run. By doing so, you will leave the spyglass mode and the drawing will have to be started from scratch. You cannot run and use the spyglass at the same time. Remember that ink is necessary to make drawings. Each ink well has enough ink for 5 drawings. Mailposts are a good place to find them. Use remote observation, a simple way to approach and see beyond what our eyes show us, ideal for curious minds. Okay. So again, this part I can get behind. I can get behind this whole, we've got to go and draw some things and see what's going on here. I'm going to make a stop off in the post office because we have a quest for it. Also, we have a card figure here. So Albius, I suppose you're already in the Master's Apprentice. Today was the day, so congratulations, Albius. It makes me angry not to be able to be with you, but they have called everyone to Brayless. They said that Master Enodio is in charge of everything. Speaking of which, do you already have the Apprentice wristband? What a pity I'm not there to see it. Undoubtedly, you deserve a gift, and I hope you like it. At last, you can put the Gracon on that shelf you spent so much time preparing. It may not be made by the sculptor Frolino, but those cost too many coins. Even so, it's spectacular, and I know you're going to love it. Oh, there's something I'm dying to tell you. Do you remember whatever, my colleague from the post office sawmill? He told me that he also saw lights in the sky, and he heard that the stellar observatories are investigating them. You understand what this means? It's true. They're gods flying through the sky. Fleur told me to be alert to the movements of the stellar observatory, and so I will. I watch them night and day, but now I have to leave. See you in Brayless, friend. We all have to go there. Okay. Carved Gracon. It's beautiful. Apparently I'll alone for a while, but as soon as I finish my task, I'll go to Brayless to see what happened. Lanio continues with the history of the lights in the sky, and it seems he's found another madman like him. Alright, we'll take that. And can I take these? No, they're for the bird. They're for the bird, Valoran, unknown characteristics. Now, you might think, oh, I could use a spyglass on this and test it out. Nope. He's not in the book. He is not in the book. In order for that to be used. So we'll come this way. And we'll run all the way back to the cartographic thing. And talk a little bit more about the books here. Like I said, I feel like they could have just... This area could have been just the introduction to the book stuff. Like, here's the stellar cartography, here's here's how to do maps, here's how to do the nature watching and all that stuff, and then everything else could have been just either glossed over or generally just left till later on, right? Like, so much has been front loaded that I'm sitting here bored, right? Like, there's a ton of things going on in the world. Like, we saw people running around. There's notes saying that everybody's gone to Brayless and all that stuff, and I'm stuck here in first gear, getting led by the nose back and forth across the same ground to the same places over and over and over again, and it's just boring, right? It's like, just, give us a break here. And also, when I pick up something like a spyglass or something like that, do we really need the first level to require you to go read a book? Like, the only reason that book existed was so that I'd have to run all the way over there and get those other help topics, right? Like, that's just... Why? Why would that be a thing? Why can't I pick up like, I can kind of understand it with the lockpicks, right? I can kind of sort of understand it there. Well, the spyglass, I mean, you just pick it up and you use it, right? It's like, why do we need skill books for all the things here? But anyway, I gotta look at these masts as they sit. Masts, cartographic masts. So there's one there. There's one here. It's hard to... Guy keeps, even if I'm keeping it perfectly still, the guy keeps bobbing his head around. There's one right behind us. And then there's one just over here. There we go. Alright, so we can get out of that. And if I look at the map, you can see I'm in this region. There's the map of our little area right here and all the unmapped regions so far. And then it's a similar thing for the animals. Now, we did see those two animals on the side of a rock up there. There's some animals that are wandering around. There's also what looks like animal cages that you can set up, but like, I see yellow outlines of things. Especially if I go this way, we'll see, like, see this guy over there. You see him, but then if I look, you see there's a thing over here that suggests that I can, like, make a enclosure, I guess, to capture it, but which then would allow me to be able to just sit here and draw it to my heart's content, I would imagine. But there's resources for it, and I don't have the resources right now. The same thing over here for the bridge. Bridge is broken. I can't do anything about it right now because I need more stuff. There's also a turtle over there that I can't do anything about. I'm zoomed all the way in. It's too far to draw, they say. So there's a lot of teasing going on. A teasery things, but there's no, it's like you gotta drag your butt through all this, nonsense just to get to the things that are interesting. You know what I mean? Like, some of this is just almost self-explanatory, and yet we gotta go one step at a time. You can't go step out of line, can't do anything else. You just gotta sit here and be bored by this rote actions that they're making you sort of go through here. I'm trying to remember where was there were like little like iguana looking things on the side of one of these mountains, and I forget which one I was seeing it on, but I think they're the ones that I can actually go and draw, I believe. If I can find it. I was over here and then I saw it, right? I know there's a bird up there that is one of the ones to draw, but it requires me to bait it with something, and I haven't been able to find what bait it wants yet. And what else? Yeah, over there, that bird right there. It flies away even when you get like even remotely close to it, and then doesn't land until it has a reason to. Again, I'm trying to remember where, because I've walked by them like 20 times at this point, and I don't remember exactly what rock I saw those things on. Maybe if I come up here and take a look around. Is this one it? No, that's this one. Just there's that bridge is out. It just triggers a cutscene. I might as well trigger it, I guess. Let's see. There's our huge kraken in the sky. Incredible, it's so close to Brayless. Something must have forced him to come here, but what would frighten a kraken? There is what that's saying. And then I think the bridge is out up here, right? So yeah, I can't really go this way yet. It is broken. In any event, yeah, I don't have enough materials to repair it. I assume I find those later. I'm trying to remember. It was like a rock that I saw. Oh, you know what? It's probably this rock over here when I was going up the hill. I'll bet. There's also... Yeah, there they are, right there. Okay. Let's come over this way. Let's see if they're close enough that I can get a image here. Should be close enough, I would imagine. Too far to draw. Alright, can I get over here? Too far to draw. Over the fence and get even closer. Go. It's not in the drawing book. Okay, and this one. Is that one also not in the drawing book? I don't know if it's... That one's also not in the drawing book. Okay. Alright, so that didn't work. There's also, I believe, is that a emerald up there, or is that just a plant? It's just a plant. Okay. So I don't know what else to look at. I haven't seen too many other animals around that I can just kind of walk up to and spyglass. We do have this spot here where we can save. Yeah, I don't have any other idea of where to go. Guess I can walk down here and see if there's anything going on down here. I haven't been down this way before, so I have no idea. Something apparently can observe me. Oh, this is another mailpost tower. And an inkwell. Go. Got another inkwell out of it. Trying to figure out what can see me here. I don't see it at all. Over this way. Oh, there's something. That's something I can draw or not. There's a little bug down there. Too far to draw. Alright, let's try sneaking. Sneak up on this little guy. And do you. Indio, it's too far to draw. No, it's still too far. I can try and come from behind over here. I don't think it'll matter much. Sneaking. Sneaking. Like you literally have to be like right up on them to do what you need to do. Yeah, it just keeps saying it's too far to draw, and it's just not. It's not cooperating. Not cooperating. This has been the case throughout the game. I don't know if this is just a broken quest or if I just have to somehow some way of just kind of sneaking one in, or I can't climb. If I could climb this, I'd climb up to the top of it, but it'd probably tell me I'm too far away still. I don't know if there's any research in... Well, this is just a mail post. I don't know if there's any research in, like, a tower somewhere or what. But I don't see anything over there. So, yeah, this is as far as I've gotten. As far as I got off camera, too. It's just... I'm just kind of stuck here. Trying to figure out how to get some of these pictures that they want for the quests. While at the same time not requiring me to I don't know, like it's like I said, there's so much more going on here that I want to gain access to, and this is like the best way I can describe this tutorial is this is like the original Driver game. Have you ever played the original Driver game where they forced you through a tutorial at the very beginning and it was difficult? Like you had to do all these maneuvers in like 1 minute or something like that. and it was super difficult. And people actually modded the game so that they could get away without having to do that tutorial and everything. This kind of feels like that. It's not a not particularly difficult tutorial, but it feels like I'm forced to go through all this nonsense that could have easily been stretched out a little bit. Like, I know I'm the type that will complain a little bit if, you know, I'm 3 hours into a game and I'm still getting tutorials, but honestly, like, there's no reason for all of these to be here. Like, I should be, at this point, I should be neck deep in lore. I should have been able to talk to a bunch of NPCs. Like, you had all these NPCs running around, now they're all gone, and I couldn't talk to a lick of them. I talked to that one guy, and that was it. And now I'm just kind of like, you know, trying to, like, what fee do I have to pay in order to freaking, you know, I just want to be done with the damn tutorials so that I can actually go and explore the world and get interested in it. Because I feel like there's some interesting stuff going on here. Is this, we'll have to note what happened. Due to a strong storm that has hit this region, his road is not available beyond this barrier. Several items and workers are clearing the way, removing debris. We'll keep you informed. It's probably because it's early access there. Yeah, it's just, it feels like, what is this? What is this here? Oh, is this one of the things I need to look at? It's not in the drawing book. Everything I'm looking at that I can look at is not in the drawing freaking book. Like, what the hell, man? Yeah, so I'm stumped as to what else to do. I'm sure that just didn't read something properly, or honestly didn't care to read something properly, and the answer to getting through all this just requires me to do that. And frankly, I'm tired of tutorial right now. I want to get lore. You know, I like the idea that you're kind of walking around, and the idea is not to kill things. It's to gain knowledge and stuff, and then eventually, through the gaining of knowledge, you figure out how to save the world or whatever. That's great. That's great storytelling. That's something that should be applauded. Is this my house? Is this the house I came out of? Yeah, it is. Like, I'm trying to think, is this, if I've seen this already, and I have. So yeah, I mean, that's great. That's awesome. It's just, I feel like a lot of this has been front-loaded just to show what the game can do, or what's going to be in the game. And I'm hoping that they'll go back and just completely redo this and just be like, we don't need all this stuff at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, spread it out a little bit. There's not so much in this game that you can't, like, spread it out across maybe the first, you know, hour or so. You know, you don't need all these things right off the bat. Like, they can be organically brought into the game. And also, these things that are too far away for me to draw as usual. So can I... Not in the drawing book. How about this snail here? Not in the drawing book. Like, nothing. All this stuff that I've seen is actually walking around. Not in the drawing book. None of it. So, yeah. That's where we stand right now. So I wonder if there's anything in that tower. That's like a post office there. Probably an inkwell in here or something, right? So I like the idea. I like the concept. I feel like they're trying really hard to show everything possible that you can do in the game, you know, ahead of time, and you know, they're really, really hammering home their elevator pitch. But I've already gotten off 5 floors ago, that kind of thing. And I'm looking for just stuff to do. I'm looking for a reason why I should care about anything in this game, right? Like, it's just like, for the love of God, just like let's be done with these tutorials already. Like, some of them are just so brain-numbingly obvious that there's no reason they should even be there. Oh, there's some rope up here. That's nice. And a torch. Okay. Because I couldn't come up here before. Because the damn bird thing wouldn't let me. Or I would have had all those ahead of time. I would, it's just, you want your game, you say your game's not going to be linear, then it shouldn't be linear even now. It really shouldn't. There's no reason for it to be. All these lessons can be learned in pretty much any order. You don't need them, you don't need to follow a certain particular order to learn them, right? Like, I can learn a spyglass at any time. I can learn, the combat when it comes time to actually do some combat and stuff. I can learn lockpicking when it's time. The lockpicking in here is no real different from any other RPG I've played. And let's be honest, people who are going to be picking this up are people who've already probably played RPGs before in the past. So you're not getting anybody who's not at least somewhat familiar with the genre and understanding of some of the basic concepts. You don't have to explain everything all over again as if somebody's completely brand new. And you need to wrangle your keyboard and start putting some, like, get your keys squared away. Like, reduce the number down to something that's reasonable. Utilize the mouse more. It's more comfortable for me to, like, right click on the mouse on something than it is to hit E or F or something on the keyboard. It's still okay to have E or F or whatever, but just like sit down and hammer out some, like, get something in here, get your hook in here, right? You don't have your hook in here right now. You kind of sort of have a hook. Like, that guy that was in that boat, he's gone. Like, all these people that I saw when I walked along here, they're all gone now. And that's just frustrating and annoying, and it doesn't really it just makes everything feel like useless. Like, I feel like there's no reason to even continue on at this point. And in fact, I'm not going to continue on at this point, because again, there's, like, we have map the world, draw animals and creatures, like, whoop-de-doo, but every time I try to draw an animal or creature, like, it's not in the book. So what the hell is the point of having that as a quest if nothing's in the freaking book, right? It's just, there's little rhyme or reason to it, and there's nowhere really to go. So this is where we will stop. And not being able to save everywhere really sucks too. But that's really, there's a lot of growing that needs to happen in this game. There's a good, I think at the very base of it, there's a very good idea here, which is, what would happen if our RPG character was not some, badass, crush skulls and take names later kind of guy? What if the person who saves the world is a mage, but at the same time, they're not trying to kill things, they're really just trying to learn, and through their acquisition of knowledge of the world, they in turn are able to save the world from whatever's going to happen. Like, that's a really fascinating concept. It's a really interesting concept as one. It's not really been ever put to use, I don't think, in any game. Plenty of RPG games will throw books at you, but none of them actually say, like, we're going to give you, a reason to go look for these books. We're going to give you, other than just, it's, hey, you happen to be in the area, and if you like lore, here you go, right? And it feels like they're onto something here. It's just, you need to make that a first-class citizen. You need to, try and just kind of wrangle all this stuff together, get rid of all the nonsense in this beginning here, let people go talk to NPCs. Let them learn stuff on their own time. It's okay for the tutorial to not be all in one area. It's okay to leave this beginning area without knowing everything there is to know about the game. You don't have to sell it that way. If you're selling, the main selling point of this game would be the exploration and the acquisition of knowledge. That's all you need. The rest of it, people will figure out, you know? And as long as you make it, you wrangle all your keys together and you make it so it's not so ham-fisted, like, oh, hit Q for this, hit F for that, hit, you know. Oh, now I got like three menus to dismiss, but they all take 3 different keys to dismiss them with. Yeah, it's like, you know, get some consistency there, wrangle your keys together, and all that stuff. And I'm repeating myself, I know, but that's just, I'm trying to hammer this home that there's a good core here. It's just not, it's criminally buried behind monotony. And this is the most monotonous tutorial you could have ever come up with. There's no reason to front load all this stuff like this. It just, especially since it's such, the concepts are so simple to figure out. Like, you don't need what you have here. You've spent a whole lot of time on this one area, and it's 90% of it is effing useless, right? You just don't need it. Cut it all out and get some lore back in there. Get us involved, get us invested in the game. That's what the starting area needs to do, is to get players invested in the game, not beat them over the head with tutorials, right? It's just, it's not necessary, especially since most people who are going to pick this up will know how to do some of this stuff. It's, hey, how do you use a spyglass? Well, you press U and you look at stuff. Bang, done. You know, I don't need to read a effing book. Then I have to run across well, first of all, I have to pick up the spyglass. Then I gotta run halfway across the world through 5 more tutorial pop-ups to pick up the book, the skill book. Then I gotta read through the skill book to get the skill. Then I gotta run back to where I was the first place to use it. It's like, fuck all that. Seriously, fuck all that. It's the simplest thing in the world, and you're making it super complicated. Stop that. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need it. You've actually gone to the point of making things more complicated than they need to be, just so that you can introduce other tutorials, so you can fit other tutorials in there. It's you're stuffing 900 pounds of crap into a 20-pound bag, and you don't need to do it. It's okay to have those things naturally come up as you go out into the world. I might not know how to draw an animal until I've gotten 50% of the way through the game, and then suddenly it's like, hey, this is the first time you're drawing an animal. Do you want to know how to do that? Cool, fine. You know, maybe I don't want to draw animals. Maybe I don't care. You know, it's like you gotta prioritize your stuff. Is what I'm getting at. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. This, my friends, has been EONIA. It is in pre-alpha. It's an early access game on Steam. It is currently $15 US. It is by Geometric Bytes, and as always, I will leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.